Nice. So this is the second episode of the Reasonable and Rational podcast. I was, I'll introduce you in a second, but I was called out a couple times on Facebook after the first episode was aired by people saying, "Are you only putting Republicans on?" And I said, "Well, I don't invite anybody on based on their political leaning," I said. And I was really upset at something that somebody said about somebody. And I said, well, that's kind of the point. It's kind of the problem and why we have this show. So I don't know if you're Democrat or Republican. Honestly, I don't care either way. I like you as a person. You can, we should probably show her to see that I'm talking to somebody. Yeah, there you go. So I like you as a person, so that's all that matters to me. And I think that the political parties everything's so split up right now. So anyway, I'm gonna introduce you. We'll talk more about that in a second. This is Key Perry. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on here.
Key, my pleasure. Key is a former college athlete, NCAA softball player, played at Merrimack College, was great as a junior, not as great as a senior. Hit one of the farthest softballs I've ever seen hit in a college softball game, I will say that much. To right field, to the right-handed batter, and she hit it off the top of a pine tree in some New Jersey somewhere, in a college game. It was awesome to see. Anyway, I can tell you a lot more about your softball career, but for now we won't do that. So Key is much more than a college softball player. Currently working at a big company in finance. Yep. Right?
Yep.
Accounting background,
and I'm working as an auditor. So.
An auditor. So, Rob, did you file your taxes?
Oh yeah.
On July 15th.
In January.
Because I don't know if Key would have anything to do with that, but
not at
she's
all.
an auditor.
I'm not on the IRS team.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, we're not big fans of the IRS here in the Reasonable and Rational TV show.
I'm gonna let that slide, but again, I don't work for the IRS.
Fair enough. And let's see, you had you graduated from Merrimack with a bachelor's in accounting?
Business administration.
Business administration and master's
in accounting.
Yeah. Okay. And very impressive background, very impressive individual. So there's a lot of stuff. Can I say the bad word?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now, and I like to talk to people that have opinions, and I think that you probably have some. Go ahead.
Go.
Life is good.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm an opinionated person. I try to have reasons behind everything, but I'm definitely probably going to say things that are going to make people upset. But again, they're my opinions. I'm not trying to put them on anybody. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's the point that the fact that you said that you think you're going to say something to make people upset. To me, that doesn't make any sense. You're not trying to make anybody upset. The people that get upset, no matter what side you lean on politically, is no matter what anybody says right now is pissing somebody off, and it's offending somebody somewhere along the line. No matter what opinion you have, whether it's your opinion, my opinion, Rob's opinion, somebody's getting pissed off about it, and I think that's ridiculous. So. That's part of it. So, I don't know. Two of the biggest topics right now: Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. I'll start with that one. We have a mutual friend who posted on Facebook and has pretty strong feelings about the organization itself. And I mentioned to him the other day. I said, "Listen, the organization is not the same as what the actual problem is. They're two separate things. I don't know if you can speak to that at all."
I mean. Black Lives Movement
movement's different than
is movement that is different. What's being portrayed right now with looting and all these other negative things that the media is shedding light on. So I think that there's two things that are getting convoluted, and I'm definitely not the person to clarify the lines, but I think Black Lives Matter is important. I think I get confused when people say all lives matter.
Well, that's interesting because. So I think all right. So you obviously we're all, and here's the thing: we're smart enough, educated enough, whatever, to say yes, all lives matter. Yes,
correct.
But that's not the point of Black Lives Matter.
Correct.
Because And I don't understand where the divide is with people on that, because Black lives have been oppressed for a long time, and honestly, my eyes are wide open right now. Maybe they weren't for the last 15, 20 years, but they are right now. And I don't understand where people are missing the beat there. I mean, unfortunately, George Floyd had to be a martyr for that in some ways, and that certainly woke a lot of people up. There's no doubt about it, in a lot of good ways.
Absolutely.
And some bad ways, but it definitely woke people up. So I get really confused, and it frustrates me when I hear people say, they cross out Black Lives Matter and they put All Lives Matter.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I get what I think you're well intended when you say that, but you're missing the point.
Agreed.
Right?
I completely agree with that.
So what's the point?
I mean, the point is, we're built on a country that didn't believe in all for many, many years, 200 plus years. Yeah. So all, liberty and justice for all, didn't mean all, ever.
Meant some.
It meant some.
If you were
So
white.
to say all lives matter, it's like, well, all lives didn't matter with freedom and justice for all. So why does it matter? Like, why are we talking about all? There's so much privilege, and there's so much confusion. Just Black lives didn't matter until people started recording things. People started talking. People started listening. Now that people are listening, I think we need to get the right people in front of the camera and really shed light on what Black history is and continues to be.
Well, I've learned a lot just in these last couple months. I didn't know anything about the, and forgive me for the massacre in Oklahoma back in, what was that, Rob?
June. What do they call that? Juneteenth?
Juneteenth.
19th?
I didn't know anything about that until I started reading about that,
Mhm.
and I think that's it's embarrassing that those things aren't being taught in.
You know where I
in
heard
our
about
history.
that? Being in high school in the 80s, you probably have textbooks from the 70s who were written by people from the 60s. So those kinds of things I never heard of. I never heard of Malcolm X. They had about a paragraph or two about Martin Luther King, maybe a page. I learned it all growing up listening to rap, Public Enemy, KRS-One. That's where I learned my Black history as a white kid from Massachusetts and now New Hampshire. So I had completely forgotten all about that, didn't know much about it. And then when it came up, it was just a horrific thing that has happened. And it's been swept under the rug.
That's one of many.
Oh, yeah.
Many, and it continues. And I keep hearing more and seeing more, and we're not that far. That's not that far. That's not that long ago.
Not at all.
It's not that long ago. So it's a problem. For what it's worth, the lyrical genius known as Bob Marley is how I learned about my Black culture. My mom was unique. She is unique. She is very unique. Mom, if you watch this one, I'm saying very nice things. But you are very unique, and I was pretty much raised on reggae, and everything that goes along with that. So,
Nice. What does that mean?
I can't. No, I can't divulge. So anyway,
Mom had a couple of greenhouses out back.
something like that. So yeah. So anyway, no, I feel it's the movement is important. The organization. Do you know much about the organization itself?
I don't actually.
Okay. So I hear a lot. I hear it's funded by white people in a lot of ways. Not white people, but who's the guy that
Soros?
Soros, yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that
okay.
I hear that it's purpose driven to affect a whole bunch of other things, including the next election and the politics of the world and so on and so forth. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's fascinating.
It kind of is, right? So there's conspiracy thoughts on just about everything. But yeah, no, I definitely think there's a difference between the movement and that organization. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of both but the movement is important. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on the organization per se. You don't know much about it. I don't know much about it. Rob, do you know much about it?
I know that it's not new.
No.
I mean, people think it came out with Michael Trayvon Martin, or, I mean, did we forget about Rodney King? I mean, you know what NWA was talking about back in '84. You know, black cop showing off for the white cop. You know why that song "F the Police" existed? You know, this isn't new. This isn't something new. And when Rodney King incident was finally got caught on tape, it was like almost a sigh of relief. It was like, finally, somebody has caught somebody doing what has been going on since 200 years, you know? So it's not a new thing. People act like it's a new thing. It's not.
Right. It's not. It's definitely not.
Definitely not.
All right. I mean, we could talk about this the whole entire show. If you have any more thoughts on it, I'm happy to.
I think it's just important that we're having a conversation at all. I don't think it has to be about Black Lives Matter. I don't think it has to be about any specific organization, but the fact that, you know, you're interested in learning about Black culture, and people are interested now in learning about Black culture and how to fix the inequalities and, you know, try to level the gap, or, you know, whatever people are saying. I think that's important.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hope it's happening. I mean, it is happening. I hope that 20 years from now we can look back and say it's better now than it was now. And I hope somehow, because it's not better now than it was in the 80s or the 60s. I mean, maybe it is, and in some people's minds it is,
right.
In other people's minds it's clearly not. So,
what do you guys think about, if you have friends in law enforcement, like I think we all probably do, how do you talk about it with them? How do you express that? I mean, like me and Jim talk about it all the time. You can support Black Lives Matter and support police. You can do both.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on either side. So how do you have that conversation with your friends that are in law enforcement?
That's funny. I don't think I have, but I think that right now folks are so caught up about Black people get pulled over more than white people or something like that. I don't know the statistics. I don't know if that's true. But what I could say is being a police officer is hard. I can imagine. You're going up to a car, your body fully exposed, no matter if you're Black or you're white or you're some other nationality. That has to be very intimidating. So I think that that's very underrated right now, especially with, you know, there's just videos of, you know, brutality going on. I think people can only picture that every police stop ends in, you know, someone accidentally reaching for their taser and pull out their gun instead, or, you know, one of the many, many different things. And I think we have to also know that police are just doing their job, but there are bad people in all industries and not just police. Yeah. So if we're going to record police, we need to record everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's I was pulled over this morning. That happens fairly often, typically due to texting and driving. So in this case, I was pulled over this morning, and I pulled over, and I knew actually he actually pulled up on the side of me on the highway, and I looked over and I glanced. I said, "Oh shit!" And I said that again, sorry. And then so I had to pull over. He didn't even ask me to pull over, but I pulled over anyway because I had my phone just like this, and I looked, and I pulled right over. And he got behind me, and I think to myself, all right, so I have to keep my license in my console, and I keep my registration in my glove compartment. So I was definitely thinking about, all right, what is he seeing when I'm going to reach for my driver's license, when I'm going to reach for my registration? You know, he's vulnerable at that point,
right?
And so that's not a color issue in my opinion. I mean, if somebody is going to reach in their glove compartment and you're walking up to their vehicle, if you're a police officer, if you're not a police officer, you don't know what they're reaching for, right. And it is scary for them, but I think you hit the nail on the head. In every organization, there are good people. There's bad people.
Right.
The bad people are the ones that are going to cause the problems, and I think right now we need more good people speaking up. and being vocal and
Absolutely.
educating and so on and so
And I
forth.
think that when a system is made to protect the bad people, that's a problem. And that's one of the main problems. My union, where I work, protects horrible editors. There's people I work with that should have been gone years ago, but the union protects them. And I can't imagine being a police officer where you can't, tell on your buddy, tell on your partner. That's looked down upon because that's the system that
But
they're
why?
underneath.
When we can hold people accountable.
I know he should be able to because
that's where the system's broken, right? So
because
that's
when
people talk
you
about
work for
defunding the police. You don't defunding the police doesn't make sense because you need law and order.
dumb statement. Yeah,
But-
it's a dumb thing to say.
But funding it differently and hiring better people, and then having you can't have a guy. And I'm glad I said this last time too. I'm glad I don't remember this guy's name. The guy whose knee was on George's head. I don't remember his name. I don't care to remember his name. But that was his 18th violation.
Right.
That was the 18th time that he had been reported for something like that, and that can't ever happen. So that has to change.
And those guys who were with him were brand new, so they weren't going to tell on them.
But only because of the system being wrong, right?
Exactly.
Because there's this fraternity or the brotherhood of, well, you what happened. I guess for lack of a better term, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It's us versus internal affairs. Like I said before, they're going to make me take anger management classes, and that shouldn't be anger management class. Shouldn't be a punishment. It should be a necessitary, a prerequisite. It shouldn't be, oh, you beat up 3 people, now you got to take this class. Well, you should have taken the class first, so you don't beat up the people.
As part of becoming a police officer.
Right,
Sure.
and the stigma within the police departments, it's hard to change because it's kind of an old boys club. And you can't, that's what they want. The systemic change is being able to report other guys without getting in trouble for it or getting blackballed for it.
Yep. Well, there's a lot to be fixed. There's no doubt. And so that's one. What do you think about wearing masks in public? We're not wearing masks tonight. We talked about it.
We're not wearing masks. No. What do I think about it? I think that there is a pandemic going on. So I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. So if the doctor of our country is saying to wear a mask, I think we should wear a mask.
And this is Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci.
Do we have any sort of graphic with Dr. Fauci on it? It's kind of interesting because he is saying, oh, interesting. So he is saying wear a mask. Now, that being said, back in early April, he said masks no good for us, right? He said that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I don't disagree with wearing a mask. If it's going to protect, if it's for the greater good, I'll wear a mask. I'll go into the... I saw a woman today. I was walking out of the chiropractor. I went to the chiropractor. I was walking out of the chiropractor's office to put my, to grab my credit card so I could pay when I left. And I was walking out, and she saw me walking out of the store, and she was walking in, and she said, "Oh, do I need a mask in there?" I said, "Well, the receptionist is wearing a mask." I asked the same question. She said, "You don't." But she went back and got her mask anyway.
Right.
I said, I do that 5 times a day. I get out of my truck, I go to walk into Home Depot, or I go to walk in, and I say, I got to go back and get my mask. And I walk back to my truck and get my mask every time. And I don't know, it's inconvenient is not the right word. It's not inconvenient. It's just different.
New.
It's
Something
something
new you
different
do.
that nobody's used to. And I don't know. I don't have any problem with it. I certainly, if it's for the greater good, I'm good with it. But if I don't wear a mask, somebody labels me a Trump supporter. How does that
That's
happen?
fascinating.
Like
It's a mask.
Did you say the man?
It's just a mask.
What did you say earlier about the when we talked about it is just a mask? But you said something about he's the man about the mask or something like.
He's the face of the mask.
He's the face of the mask. Okay, and that's a great point too because I was telling you my mom is very much against Trump as a person, and I think anybody that knows him, anybody that hears him talk, he's not a great person. He's not a great guy.
Not a great guy.
You wouldn't want to hang out with him, I don't think, unless
I
you
personally would not.
So, but he is the president. He was elected president.
Agreed.
Maybe he got a few thousand less votes Hillary did.
You are a Trump supporter.
Yeah, right. No, I am saying. So I'm saying he was the better choice at the time to become the president. I don't know if he's lived up to the title, and I don't think he has. Probably not from a prestige standpoint. But has he done the job? Probably. Is he going to go down as the best president ever?
No, definitely not.
Rob may think he might.
Depends on what part
I mean,
of the
there
US
are
you
some.
live in, I guess.
For me, there are some good things that he has done, but the Reinvestment and Recovery Act of 2009 is when the economy and unemployment started going back. Like people were getting jobs, the economy was going high, and it's been that way since. Now he's taking credit for that. The economy and the unemployment that we had before COVID was all because of that stimulus package, which I believed in. I believe in the one that they just did now too. The one that we may get again. Who knows if we're gonna get that one again? But that's where that came from. Now he took a lot of regulations off businesses to make it easier for business to be profitable. The business tax went from 35% down to 20, 21. That's good. That was good. But there was a reason why it was there at first. There was a reason why those regulations were put in place at first. Like, banks can't screw you in your investments and not tell you about it. Banks, a lot of things were to do with CEOs taking big chunks of bonuses and not, and then laying people off, taking money from the government and then laying people off and taking huge bonuses. That act put regulations in place. It got rid of all that stuff. But there were some things that he's done that's been okay. But my big problem is taking credit for the economy when it was the Reinvestment and Recovery Act of 2009, which really didn't take handle until 2011. That's where it came from. And only a handful of Republicans voted for that. The usual suspects, the Collins, King, there were, of course, McCain, people like that. Now they want to take credit for it.
Well,
that's what bothers me.
Well, I don't know so much about who takes credit. I don't really care who takes credit for it, to be honest. But if there is a figurehead at the time when the economy is getting better, they'll take the blame if it's bad. They'll take the credit if it's good. So
of course, both sides still do.
He happened to be the figurehead at the time when our economy was. Well, if you correlate the stock market with the economy, and it's the Dow Jones number being as high as it was. If you take that as why that the economy is booming, well, yeah, that happened while Trump was.
Well, that's what happened during the Obama administration.
Not as high as it never got that high. Never got as high.
Well, it was getting there. Because
right, well, maybe.
But the six biggest stock market falls before COVID were on the Trump watch.
So when you get to your highest point, it's a lot easier to fall.
No, when you do stupid stuff and say stupid stuff, the stock market freaks out.
More tests you have, the more positive results you have.
Exactly. So stop testing.
Stop testing. Is that what you want to tell like the Miami Marlins?
Yeah.
And
oh God.
So I just heard today on the way here. That's a good segue. That the Marlins, the Marlins players admitted to going out and partying in Atlanta after their game. That's why. So therefore, now I don't know. Now again, if the conspiracy theorists might say, "Oh my goodness, Major League Baseball got to them because now they can tell them to be scapegoats so that they don't have to cancel the whole season now because it was somebody who doing something out of the context of what they were approved to do. Like they're not allowed to do that.
But they're not in a bubble.
Right.
They're not.
But they're not in a bubble.
Yeah.
So.
Right. No, you're right. But they've also been told, listen, if you want to finish the season, don't go out to the bars, after the games. They've been told that. So whether it's true or not, that's what they're saying. So that's going to at least buy them a couple more weeks at least, and see if.
They should get bounced.
They should.
Goodbye. Next year.
I think
they're not that great anyway.
I think their schedule is suspended for the rest of the year.
Oh well, good. That's how it should be.
I think I saw that on.
The Marlins?
So they're not playing, eh? I think I saw that.
I don't know if I heard that, but
I'll check it.
I
I'll check
didn't
it.
I didn't see that, but I think it was up to 20 players or coaches or something
it was
like that.
14 players and coaches as of this morning. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's changed or gotten worse, but
Yeah.
but I think what it does do is it does say, okay, these are young, athletic, probably nothing wrong with them otherwise. If they did go out to Atlanta and one of them caught the virus and now the whole team has it,
Right.
that's pretty clear that, okay, well, masks must work and social distancing must work, right? To me, that's a good factor, and that is saying that. So anybody who's saying that, you know, they don't have to social distance or wear masks, I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I don't even
I
like to
think
take
it's
both
just,
sides of
I
it.
think it's your opinion. It's what you want to do. If you don't want to get sick, or you want to prevent yourself from getting sick, you should wear the mask.
So-
If you don't, then okay, don't wear the mask. But just know you can't be the one saying, "Oh, I didn't get sick, so masks don't work."
Yeah, and anybody who would be, and I know a lot of people will say this, yeah, but even if you do get sick, you should wear your mask, and even if you don't get sick, even if you don't care, you should wear the mask because you're protecting my grandmother or your grandmother or something
Yeah.
like that, you know. So, so it actually becomes a morality thing.
It's just ridiculous. Wear the mask.
Wear the mask.
Dr. Fauci says wear the mask, minus the picture you had up there. Wear the mask.
I know. I don't disagree with that. I maybe I did it first. I don't even know if I just. People are talking about their civil liberties being taken away by being told that they have to wear a mask if they want to go into Walmart or, you know, now. Where I have a problem with this, okay, so the Walmart CEO or the whoever is making that decision for them is saying, if Sam Walton says, all right, nobody can come into my store without a mask, who's enforcing that? Is that the Walmart greeter?
It's like the Walmart employees.
The Walmart greeter
Yeah.
is going to enforce that?
I don't think
it's
so.
not going to enforce that.
Someone's not
What it's
gonna be
do
happy
is
with that.
It's going to cause a problem.
Absolutely.
Not
Right?
for $3.16 an hour. No. they're not gonna do that.
Exactly.
Right. So there's a serious flaw in the
agree.
system.
I agree with that.
So anyway, yeah. That's,
So the Miami Marlins, which we all call the Florida Marlins still.
yeah, those of us. from the
I was
East.
half right. The season has been postponed, but only through Sunday, and they're going to reevaluate.
Postponed.
So the indefinite word doesn't necessarily play there. It just says till Sunday.
And
So
what
what do you
about-
guys think about the NFL?
Rob's
See, the
taking over.
NFL
It's
is
okay.
not
I
a
like
bubble.
I like
sports.
that. I like
The NFL is not in a bubble either, but the NFL has is a multi-billion-dollar business. Are they? If something like this happens in the NFL, are they going to close up shop, or are we going to play a Super Bowl
Not
against
a
two
chance.
teams? I agree.
Not a
We're going to play a Super Bowl against two teams with players you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Like Doug Flutie's going to come back and play for the
Yeah,
Patriots at this
probably.
point.
I thought I heard them. They just signed them again.
So yeah.
I don't think they're
Kidding.
going to shut down for
I think
anything.
you're confused. I think the Red Sox signed him to pitch.
Oh, well, the Red Sox need a whole bunch of pitchers. So, but I think there's too much greed in the fact that they're not going to not play. They're just going to tell you, sit home and wait it out 2 weeks or till Sunday and we'll evaluate. There's not one chance that they're going to just wrap it up. There's too much TV money, radio money.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And
advertiser dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the Lakers tried to get it on the stimulus money. So, I mean, you can see how cheap they are. Just,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Not a
no
chance.
kidding. It's yeah. I don't think the NFL. So, but do I think that there's going to be problems? Yeah, I think there's going to be problems.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I don't know if we're going to end up seeing see the problem with your statement about Doug Flutie coming back. I guarantee that if there's a NFL pandemic or if there's a epidemic of COVID cases and every team's getting 10 or 20 of them or something like that, you're not going to get players to replace the ones that are getting them. Nobody's going to want to do that, or not enough people are going to be able to do that. So
I don't know. I think you're wrong. I think if guys were willing to cross the picket line, like Doug Flutie,
different scenario, different case.
It is.
That was for notoriety. That was for income. This is for
yeah,
health.
same
And
thing,
health-
income.
I don't think so. I don't
There's
think
so
people-
many guys out there that would die literally to play for the NFL.
Well, I think that theory would be tested because I
Yeah.
think that they would be concerned.
I would be surprised if they couldn't
because
find
I
enough
think-
people to play.
I think if that scenario happens and 20 players from the same team are test positive, and you need to replace them, I think you won't find 20 players immediately that will come and replace them.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I don't think so.
Well,
If
you
it's-
definitely have to
if
get
it's not-
tested and all this stuff. So
Right.
it depends what you mean by immediately.
Yeah.
Well, immediately, so meaning, they're going to think twice about it, because if it's not just their livelihood, this is the thing. It affects one of the reasons we have 6 Patriots right now opting out for the season is because it's not because of them. They're not worried about catching the disease. They're worried about how, if they do catch it, are they going to transmit it to their newborn or their grandmother or somebody like that, and that's what they're worried about. So that's why I think that's where the problem would be if we have to replace people. People are going to be thinking 10 times, not twice, 10 times before they make that decision, and so I disagree with you, Rob.
I think it's interesting that
That's what the show's
people
for.
are shaming those people that are choosing to opt out of these contracts. They're saying, "Oh, you make this much money. Why don't you just go out there and play?" I mean,
I actually like the fact that I actually like seeing that people are doing that, making those decisions, because
Yeah, I do too.
because it's
I love
not just about the money for them anymore. Where a lot of times there's a lot of money in sports,
absolutely.
and you can say that about, you could say that about some professional athletes, movie stars, whatever. You make so much money, you shouldn't have to do this, or you shouldn't be saying this, or whatever. You should I don't know, be normal, whatever that means. I don't. If people are shaming people for their decisions about protecting their family, I don't
think
get
it's
that
crazy
either.
too.
Yeah.
But I also think, it questions, you asked if NFL or these other organizations are going to close shop. It depends on who the players are opting out, in my opinion. If Tom Brady, I know that's probably, if he opts out, then, I'm sure Roger Goodell is going to be trying to do whatever he can to do to get all these other players to want to play.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the best thing for 2020 if Tom Brady does, in fact, opt out.
Jim is so upset with
I'm not a
Tom
fan.
Brady.
I'm not a Tom Brady fan anymore.
Okay.
I'm mad at him.
Okay. I'll let him know.
I am not happy with Tom Brady. No, he shouldn't have left the Patriots, and I don't care, even if it was Belichick's fault. You spend 20 years in an organization, you become the face of the organization, and to do it because he wanted to make more money somewhere else, I just don't get that. I don't get it. We talk about the money part of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it was just money, but I agree with you.
I don't think it was
staying.
just money either. I think there was some competition, and he wanted
Couldn't
to
have his
prove that he can
doctors
do
and
it
stuff,
without
yeah.
Belichick and some of that stuff. But apparently he didn't want to prove he could do it without Belichick and Gronk. Apparently he needed Gronk.
He needs
Yeah.
someone to throw to. I mean,
Gronk is going to be
I can't even
not
tell
that
you
good.
who's on Tampa Bay. Not one person. I don't know.
Gronk.
Yeah, that's it. Who else is he throwing to? I have no idea.
Yeah, he's definitely has a good receiving core. If you do a fantasy football draft, you're gonna want to take some of their wide receivers. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
How can you even play fantasy football this year?
I don't even know.
All you half your team is going to be sick.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots defense is my go-to. How am I? Who do I pick now?
exactly.
They won my whole league for me last year.
They're scoring more than wide
I
receivers.
don't know what they're gonna do. I don't even know what the Patriots defense is gonna do. But Belichick doesn't seem too worried about it.
There's no linebackers. None.
Patrick Chung is the captain of the defense for the most part.
Dante Hightower wears the headset.
Dante, I know.
Yep.
So I mean,
It's not good.
not great.
Not good. But then we got Cam Newton.
Great.
I love Cam Newton. He's always
I don't
been-
love him.
He's actually always been my fantasy football quarterback. So
I don't love him for his off the field stuff. I think he's talented, but everyone in the NFL is talented, right?
Yep.
And drink their own Kool-Aid, probably since they were like 7. But some of the stuff he says in interviews are just outlandish. Remember the time where the woman asked the question and he was like, wow, I've never heard a woman say something like that? Like, what? What are you saying?
he must be a Democrat, right?
What?
Isn't that how that works? If you say something bad about somebody, then you're.
Oh, right now.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe no.
Oh,
Maybe he's a Republican.
Maybe.
I don't know. So see how confused I get.
It's
Yeah.
hard to keep track.
It's hard.
It is hard to keep
But, like, why can't you just make a decision? Who cares if you're a Democrat or Republican or, just
exactly.
say what you want to say.
Exactly. So, Rob, I didn't want to tell you this beforehand, but
Why?
he is a Yankee fan.
Who is?
He,
Guilty.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Yankee fan.
Yeah.
What are you
You
gonna
should
do?
be, too. Have you seen the Red Sox? Who's pitching tonight? Some
That's not
guy.
how it works.
I heard they picked him up around the
David Hall,
block.
I believe, right?
He's like a 10
Oh, God,
ERA.
I don't know, but
David
that's not
Hall.
how it works. Before 2000, when this area started winning, we were just miserable people watching our miserable baseball team. But we didn't even think about
2004,
rooting for
but-
somebody else. I mean, not just Red Sox, but when the Patriots started winning in 2001, and the whole attitude changed around here. You know what? Patriots fans, Boston fans turned into Yankee fans. Insufferable jerks.
Ah, wow. Shots fired.
See, so I'm going to a graduation party on Long Island this weekend.
Okay.
My daughter's boyfriend has graduated, and they're having a party, and my wife and I got invited, so we're going to Long Island, and I don't know if I'm gonna. So there's a couple of things that have come up. Do I wear a mask? It's in New York. I have a Red Sox mask. Do I wear that in Long Island at my daughter's boyfriend's
Uh-oh.
family, right, in New York? And then do I use it as a conversational piece? And to be honest, if the Red Sox were 3-1 right now instead of 1-3, I might. But the fact that they've been horrible, I may not.
Okay.
Being that I'm going to be in New York, but that has come up, and
I think you wear it if you want to wear it.
I do wear it if I want to wear it.
Again, Red Sox, Yankees, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I'm just a baseball fan.
I don't know. Well, I will say this: we were watching Yankee. It was an ESPN game. I think the Yankees were playing against the Nationals, maybe, and Brett Gardner came in to catch a fly ball, and he kind of misjudged it, and he dove, and he landed on his arm, and it bounced out and missed it. And Haley, my daughter, laughed really hard. Oh, Yankees suck, she said. And I yelled at her. I said, Yankees don't suck. They were in the World Series last year. And I kind of defended the Yankees, and she said,
What's wrong
"No,
with
they suck. Yankees suck."
What's wrong
And
with you?
I remember thinking back to 2004, when the Red Sox did win the World Series. But that year, that was the chant in the stands. Like that's all they did. All 33,000 people would be Yankees suck. Yankees suck. Whether the Yankees were playing or not, we could have been playing the Rays, and the chant would start.
Oh, yeah, at a Bruins game.
And at a Brewers game, Patriots game, whatever. And I would
That's
think,
so awesome, though.
and I thought it was the dumbest thing ever because at that point,
If you don't take it too seriously, I enjoy it because it's funny.
I don't.
Because I don't take it too seriously.
Maybe I take it too seriously, but
I think it's funny too.
I think that it's the dumbest thing ever. The Yankees are the most decorated team in the world in Major League Baseball
Yes.
forever, and clearly they don't. Particularly when you have, I mean, we're talking the teams that they had in the. My goodness, when they were saying that, we were talking Derek Jeter, we're talking.
Oh, you mean
Mario
Jeter and the
Rivera.
Cheaters?
Come on,
Oh man.
come on. Now I'm not. Listen, I'm not. even-
Everybody was. I
am a Red
missed the
Sox fan.
steroid era. I wish it came back.
Baseball needs to change the product. It's hard to watch as a fan. And also, I don't know if you've seen a game in the past couple weeks with the cardboard cutouts. That's hilarious.
I think it's funny. Rob is in the media.
Okay.
So he works for is it CBS?
Channel 7. We're
Channel 7.
unaffiliated.
You were CBS at one point.
We were at NBC.
NBC. So you may have you been watching any of their games?
Yeah.
All right. So you hear the piped in or the crowd noise, things like that. So
Yeah.
when it happened the other night on the foul ball home run, I was like, ugh, all right. They have to do a better job of this because basically they had this roaring crowd noise when they call the home run foul. And,
Yeah. The
and
murmur
that's
that
just-
plays like
Yeah.
during pitches and stuff, perfect.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job with that.
But the other stuff, yeah.
the effects,
They leave it up to like one guy who's got this audio board like
He's
this,
probably an
and he's
intern.
just bringing up the sound arbitrarily. No, nobody gave him any guidance.
He woke up and
Yeah.
which kind of reminded me of me when you were trying to teach me how to do the board meetings stuff in town. So anyway, what time we got? We got okay. So we've got an hour in almost. So I mean we could talk forever.
We
And
could.
This is and
We've been recording for 40 minutes.
okay. So I think 40 minutes is our is our goal.
More than 40, less than 60. That's all we want.
More than 40, less
Okay.
than 60. So we can do one more topic, or we can wrap up, because definitely I think that you should come back again if we are gonna wrap up for
Awesome.
tonight.
Yeah, no, love
yeah.
to be back. Love to talk anything.
All right. So on the good news, Betty Vaughn, I'm gonna reach out to you because Betty, different opinion here from our last guest. Hopefully you understand this and notice it. I didn't do it for you. However, I did ask you for patience. Just to let you know that no, we're not going to have only Republicans on the thing. And I don't even know and I don't care.
It's like, whoa.
She may be a Republican. I don't know.
I am a Republican. I'm a registered Republican.
Yeah, but you're Portuguese, so I don't know if that matters.
So be surprised how Republican they are.
So hopefully that works out for you, Betty. Mom, if you're watching, I did get your Facebook message today. I have not decided not to respond to it because I don't care. I don't like him either as a person, Trump. I don't like him. He's not a nice guy. I get that. So you don't need to send me a video of
Jim's mom
something
sends
bad he did.
Trump memes to him all day long.
Constantly. There was one more. Yes. Do you have the graphic with Trump and MLK? Because this is the one I like. I like this one a lot.
Okay.
It will end on this one.
Oh crap! I don't have that one.
Don't have that one. Let's see.
I had this one.
All right. What's this one? Maybe we'll end on this one. Oh, that's a good one too. All right. So, this is and I can't read it, but this is
Amir Garrett.
Amir
plays
Garrett,
for the Anaheim Angels.
No, I think is it an Angel or a Red? Cincinnati Red. Major League Baseball player who took a knee during the national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
His best friend chose not to take a knee.
Mm-hmm.
But he's standing next to him. He posted about it. He said, I want to make sure that people are aware. This is my best friend. Maybe they're roommates on the road. I don't know. But this is my best friend. We're Major League ball players. We're at work. National anthem's playing. I took a knee. He did not. And we're still best friends.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's
you
beautiful.
You can't end any better than that.
That is
I
beautiful.
know. You would
Absolutely
think
beautiful.
that is normal, and
Yeah.
people would be like, "Of course," but it's not.
It's not.
It's
Again,
But
crazy.
that's beautiful.
yeah, I love it.
Wow.
So, all right. That's it for tonight.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jim.
Next week,
Okay.
well, next show,
Okay.
We'll see
see
what
what the
happens.
people say.
We'll talk. We'll see what the ratings are.
All right, sounds
All right.
good.
Perry and Cardello podcast.
All right.